stop. A family shop. Think Thayer. Come on, let's get rolling. Come on, let's get moving. Think Thayer.
When you go into a game as 4 touchdown underdogs, is that motivation? Does it take you guys off? Where do the emotions lie when you go into a game?
I definitely think it's motivation, and I think that's kind of the whole thing with this team this year is, you know, that's what we have is a lot of motivation from a lot of different sources. You know, there's a lot of people saying this might be a down year, people saying that we might not be as good, and I think it's really helpful for us.
Having played against Indiana here, obviously 2014, having played against that, it's not as big of a big game environment, but against a team in the same conference, how much does that help with confidence and knowing what to expect?
I think it's huge, and I think, you know, having that experience has been really helpful, and I even think for, you know, everyone else on the team playing Maryland, Purdue last year as well, on the road in a Big Ten environment. Like you say, it might not be the same, but, you know, it's still a Big Ten opponent at their place, and I think that's really helpful for us. And, you know, we've been fortunate enough to come out with wins the past couple of times, so I think that's also a really big boost for everyone to know what it takes to go in there and win.
What do you guys get out of a game like this against a Big Ten team?
Yeah, obviously it's a great opportunity. You know, it's a great exposure for the university and to kind of put our program on the map. And I think it's great for these young guys to get to experience this kind of stuff. You know, us older guys, we've been in a lot of big games. We've seen a lot of cool stuff. So obviously it's a great opportunity to play a quality opponent and a great program like Ohio State. And, you know, you can't help but be excited. You know, I know the Ohio guys are all really excited for it, especially the Columbus guys. And we're ready to get going.
One of the knocks on this team, James, is the receiving corps. Obviously, a lot of losses there. How they progressing? What's your critique of those guys?
Yeah, we're young in that room, but like I said, you know, they're starting to figure it out, and it's good to see. You know, Pudavon, Pugh, all those guys, they're starting to come along. And you know, it's been a long process starting with camp and even spring ball. So to see those guys come along, you know, Ronnie and Scotty and T.O., they're doing a great job leading those guys, kind of bringing them along. And I think they're starting to grasp the offense, and it's, you know, you couldn't ask for a better time for them to figure it out, obviously. And I think, you know, if we come out, we have another good week of practice, their confidence is going to be really high.
A lot of talk about this being Coach Jinks' first head coaching job, but there's also a lot of talk about the transition in coaching here at BGSU. Take a look at it from your perspective, what it's like to have these different coaches.
Yeah, you know, that's what I say all the time is us older guys, we're used to that change. But like I said too, you know, we're happy that it's because we're winning, and it's not because we're losing and they're having to fire these guys. So that means, you know, we're doing our job if they leave. So we're used to it. You know, we had to bring along those younger guys, but Coach Jinks has been awesome. The whole staff is great. You know, he brings that fire as well. You know, he's being doubted, and he's somewhat of an underdog as well. So, you know, we kind of feed off of that, and I think that kind of brings our whole team together.
Is it tough to game plan for a team like Ohio State that is the youngest in the country? You see a bunch of guys in the field you've never seen on tape before?
Yeah, it's obviously difficult, but with a program like that, they're just going to reload every single year. And I think, you know, they have a new DC as well, so that kind of brings a challenge for us. And at the same time, you know, they're kind of in the same situation. They don't have much film on us, and they don't really know what we're going to do either. So I think it's kind of going to be a chess game early on, trying to figure out what each other's going to do, and then whoever can make the most adjustments, I think, is going to benefit really well.
Having the success against the Big Ten the last 2, 3, whatever years, does that help going into a game like this?
Absolutely. I think, you know, knowing that we can play at that level with those kind of guys and play in that conference is obviously huge for these young guys. And I think that's kind of what Coach Jinks brings is, you know, if you want to make this a top-tier program, these are the types of games you have to win. You can't just compete. You can't go in there. In the past couple of years, you know, we've fallen short in these kind of games where we are the underdog. And I think that's kind of the thing this year is we're putting in a lot of effort. But obviously, you know, playing those kind of guys the past couple of years obviously brings a lot of confidence for those guys.
How long has this game kind of been circled on your calendar?
This game has been on my calendar and the team's calendar for a while. You know, growing up in Columbus, it's a big game, and I just brought a lot of energy to the team. The team has been feeding off of each other, just like how Knapp was saying. Coach Jinks has instilled a work ethic that we have to every day pretty much build off of what we did the day before and get better every day.
Did you grow up a Buckeye fan?
Yes, sir. I grew up a Buckeye fan. That's why this is such a big game. not only for me and the teammates and the young guys, how Knapp was saying, but also for everybody. Just go out there, go against all odds, and just work every day to do the impossible.
What do you think this experience will be like to walk out in the shoe in front of 100-and-something thousand fans?
It's going to be a great experience, to be honest with you. It really is. It's going to be a humbling experience because that's where I grew up, and my whole family's going to be there. Not just about me. The whole team is going to be excited because we've been working for this moment ever since we got here on May 17th.
How does it affect coming into that game, knowing your dream was to play in Ohio Stadium, but it was to wear scarlet and gray and be on the Ohio State side and have everybody cheering for you?
It doesn't really affect my game. It just pushes me to go harder. And I know everybody else has the same drive and the same work ethic to go out there and be great.
You mentioned the fact you have a lot of family there, a lot of friends from that area. Are you going to be wearing the scarlet and gray? Everybody going to be wearing orange?
I hope not. I know my mom is not going to be. She tells me after the first game, she said she's not a Buckeye fan after the first game. So that's how it is. And my whole family is behind me, and I know that the team is excited. I know Coach Jinx is excited to go out there and see what we can prove.
I want to thank everybody for coming out this afternoon. It is definitely an exciting time for Bowling Green football. I know that we've got an alumni and a fan base that's excited about making the trip down to Columbus this Saturday. And I tell you, we got a football team that's done what they needed to do to put themselves in a position to not only go out and compete, but to give themselves a chance to take care of business and win the ball game come September 3rd. So with that, I'll take any questions.
When you go into a game as a 4-touchdown underdog, how do you approach that with the team, or do you not even address that?
Okay, 4 touchdowns. How many points is that exactly?
27.
27 points. I really wouldn't care one way or the other. I've been a underdog my whole life, so it's something I'm used to. Kind of excel in those situations. It's not just coach speak, but I think anybody up here would tell you it's not about who you're playing or what people think. It's about you and where we are internally. My job right now is to make sure that the 70 men that get on that bus understand that and it's done day by day, that they take a holistic approach and understand that there's something to be said for just getting that there are things out there greater than oneself, and that we have a goal, and only together will we achieve it. And at the end of the day, all they need to do is go lay it on the line for the man next to them. So I've got no doubt in my mind that's what you'll see come Saturday.
Tough team to game plan for, considering they're so young and there'll be a lot of players on the field that.
Not really. What makes a tough team to game plan for is when you've got 18 to 25 5-stars a year. The good teams, man, you look at them schematically, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's not tough to figure out. They're going to do what they do, and those are the ones that are scary. So again, at the end of the day, and what we've got to do is we've got to have that same mindset. We can't try to change. Can't have to go out and try to change who we are. We've got to believe in what we do. We've got to do what we do. We've got to execute at a high level.
What does a game against these big opponents do for you guys and then for the program long term?
Well, at the end of the day, and these are the games that we all want to be in. You know what I mean? These are the opportunities that don't come too often. There's 128 FBS schools in the country, and we're playing on probably one of the top 5 venues all time. Not everybody gets those chances throughout a college career. So again, it's something. It's a trend that we hope to continue in years to come. And at the end of the day, I hope it becomes tough to find those games because we're winning a couple of them and nobody wants to play them. So again, we're excited about the opportunity that Ohio State's given us, and we can't wait. Turnovers are definitely going to play a key. You got to create them and you got to limit them from an offensive standpoint. But as far as fake punts and things of that nature, that's how you lose the game to me. I'm not. You don't look for us to onside. Coach, we're not doing an onside kick on the first kick, the first time we kick the ball. It's not happening. We're gonna play football, man. We're going to trust our football players, and hey, you know, crazy things have happened.
Looking at your 2D offensively, was there any particular player that kind of surprised you, having them at the one spot on that 2D?
Making a one spot.
Yeah. Well, let me just open it up a little bit. Offensively, who are the surprises to you on the 2D?
On the 2D, you definitely got to go with the little kid that's in the slot, the Zimmerman kid coming in, and he'll be spelling Ronnie at times. He's if you go back and you look 4 years ago, he's another little Ronnie Moore. You know, we kind of really coach did a great job getting that kid up here, and then the other one is the Taylor kid out of I think he's out from Sydney. Is that right? From Sydney, Ohio. And if I got this story right, I think he is the first person in the history of his high school to receive a college scholarship, and now we found a special one there. So look forward to watching both those guys compete, and you know, really the only other person that you know, Ryan, who I've been pleasantly surprised with, we threw Ryan in a tough situation, you know, with Bennett still, and the way he stepped in and really performed at a high level, I couldn't be prouder. So again, just looking for those guys getting out there and competing.
Defensively, are there any surprises a little bit similar vein there?
Not really. I mean, defense, we kind of had a better idea of what we had, you know, what we had coming back. You know, Trenton Austin definitely been the catalyst on that defensive side of the ball. Probably, you know, Bush has excelled. You know, Alfonso Mack, we've really challenged him to step his game up. He's done that. He's kind of leader for us in that back end. So again, I know that defensively, consistency has that kind of been an issue. I know, you know, we flashed at times last year, but I think we need to be a little bit more consistent in our defensive performances. And to this point, John, I mean, through the spring and through the fall, Coach E's got flying around, and they're confident, and they believe, and as you well know, that's half of it.
In your defensive backfield, last year's group had 2 seniors at safety. You're really young at safety this year.
Right. You know, but those kids are young, but they've got some length and they've got some athleticism, and that's where it all starts. And one of the things that we tried to do was simplify some things for them and allow them to use that athleticism. So again, look forward to seeing more. And I've said it since the day I got here. I mean, everything's about competition, each and every day. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with James Kanapke, our starting quarterback, as it is with these kids that are competing for the job, our specialties positions. So the only one that's kind of locked in, and I don't see anybody making a run for it, is that dang old punter. Where is he from? Findlay? Yeah, he's a good one. Now let's hope we don't see him too much, but it's definitely good to have a kid like that to be able to flip the field.
How much do you know about your team, or do you learn more after the first game of the year?
You really, no one knows anything about their team at this point, because that's always evolving. You know what I mean? That's a process as you go through the season, and that's one of the things that excites me about going into this opening game. You know, I understand what we're walking into, but you don't know what this 16 Ohio State team's going to be. You don't know what this 16 Bowling Green team's going to be. You know, that's the exciting part of it. You know, I've got a good feeling about the way that they prepare and about the way that they go about their business, but they still got to go and get it done on a week-to-week basis.